Welcome to our continuing series, Terminology in the Integral Yoga. Today, death. Sri Aurobindo. For the spiritual seeker, death is only a passage from one form of life to another, and none is dead, but only departed. From Letters on Yoga. It, death, has no separate existence by itself. It is only a result of the principle of decay in the body, and that principle is there already. It is part of the physical nature. At the same time, it is not inevitable. If one could have the necessary consciousness and force, decay and death is not inevitable. But to bring that consciousness and force into the whole of the material nature is the most difficult thing of all. At any rate, in such a way as to annul the decay principle. Letters on Yoga. Death is there because the being in the body is not yet developed enough to go on growing in the same body without the need of change, and the body itself is not sufficiently conscious. If the mind and vital and the body itself were more conscious and plastic, death would not be necessary. Letters on Yoga. Be thyself immortal, and put not thy faith in death, for death is not of thyself, but of thy body. For the spirit is immortality. Essays Divine and Human. Death is the question nature puts continually to life, and her reminder to it that it has not yet found itself. If there were no siege of death, the creature would be bound forever in the form of an imperfect living. Pursued by death, he awakes to the idea of perfect life and seeks out its means and its possibility. Essays in Philosophy and Yoga. We have to face the future's offer of death as well as its offer of life, and it need not alarm us, for it is by constant death to our old names and forms that we shall live most vitally in greater and newer forms and names. Essays in Philosophy and Yoga. Death has no reality except as a process of life. Disintegration of substance and renewal of substance, maintenance of form and change of form are the constant process of life. Death is merely a rapid disintegration subservient to life's necessity of change and variation of formal experience. Even in the death of the body, there is no cessation of life. Only the material of one form of life is broken up to serve as material for other forms of life. The life divine. Of course, that is the real fact. Death is only a shedding of the body, not a cessation of the personal existence. A man is not dead because he goes into another country and changes his clothes to suit that climate. Letters on Yoga. Man, born into the world, revolves between world and world in the action of Prakriti and Karma. Purusha in Prakriti is his formula. What the soul in him thinks, contemplates, and acts, that always he becomes. All that he had been determined his present birth, and all that he is, thinks, does in this life up to the moment of his death, determines what he will become in the worlds beyond and in lives yet to be. If birth is a becoming, death is also a becoming, not by any means a cessation. Essays on Gita. There is no such thing as death, for it is the body that dies, and the body is not the man. That which really is cannot go out of existence, though it may change the forms through which it appears, just as that which is non-existent cannot come into being. The soul is and cannot cease to be. This opposition of is and is not, this balance of being and becoming, which is the mind's view of existence, finds its end in the realization of the soul as the one imperishable self by whom all this universe has been extended. Finite bodies have an end, but that which possesses and uses the body is infinite, illimitable, eternal, indestructible. It casts away old and takes up new bodies, as a man changes worn-out raiment for new. And what is there in this to grieve at, and recoil, and shrink? This is not born, nor does it die, nor is it a thing that comes into being once, and passing away will never come into being again. It is unborn, ancient, sempiternal. It is not slain with the slaying of the body. Who can slay the immortal spirit? Weapons cannot cleave it, nor the fire burn, nor do the waters drench it, nor the wind dry. Eternally stable, immobile, all-pervading, it is forever and forever, not manifested like the body, but greater than all manifestation, not to be analyzed by the thought, but greater than all mind, not capable of change and modification like the life and its organs and their objects, but beyond the changes of mind and life and body. It is yet the reality which all these strive to figure. Essays on the Gita. Even science believes that one day death may be conquered by physical means, and its reasonings are perfectly sound. There is no reason why the supramental force should not do it. Forms on earth do not last. Parentheses, they do in other planes, end parentheses. Because these forms are too rigid to grow, expressing the progress of the spirit. If they become plastic enough to do that, there is no reason why they should not last. Letters on Yoga.